Kenya.
On Friday evening, I went to a place called Oasis in Karen at around 8 p.m. 8:30. As I drove in, I saw Mheshimiwa Jirongo seated with Mheshimiwa Speaker of the National Assembly, Wetangula, and two other gentlemen.
So today we slow down things. We do not want to rush to the headlines and we do not want to shout conclusions. We just sit with the moment that has unsettled the country quietly, deeply and politically, because the name Cyrus Jirongo does not enter Kenya's conversation lightly. So about the earlier reports confirmed that a veteran politician and businessman Cyrus Jirongo was involved in a serious road accident. On the surface, it sounded like another tragic entry in our long list of road accidents, but as details began to emerge, the questions grew louder than the answers. And in Kenya, remember, when questions grow louder than facts, history teaches us to pay attention. We were told that Cyrus Jirongo was traveling from Karen to Gigiri. That is the official understanding. Yet, one question refuses to rest in the public mind. How was he found along the Naivasha Nakuru Highway? That single consistency has disturbed many Kenyans, not because it proves nothing, but because it demands explanation.
And he was found dead in Naivasha, traveling from Naivasha side to Nairobi, driving alone. So when he made this accident, he was now coming to Nairobi instead, between 11:30 and 3 o'clock. He was alone.
This is how Jirongo, Mheshimiwa, our brother, was in Karen at that late hours. He leaves to come to his home here. Naivasha is not in between here and Karen. How did he find himself in Naivasha, driving back to Nairobi? In Naivasha, driving back to Nairobi. That's a mystery that must be unraveled. And as Mheshimiwa Chairman says, it's only the government that can answer us those questions. We, as the family, the community, and the country at large, we want answers.
Former member of Orange Democratic Movement, Fred Gumo, gave voice to what many were already thinking. He openly questioned police officers, not with anger, but with disbelief. Questions about the route, questions about timing, questions about clarity, questions that so far we have not fully settled the national concerns.
We are asking the investigation officers to do everything possible and tell us what really happened. Because Mheshimiwa Jirongo was left Karen at around 11:30, going home, which is here. And he was found dead in Naivasha, traveling from Naivasha side to Nairobi, driving alone. So when he made this accident, he was now coming to Nairobi instead. So we don't know what they are going to do in Naivasha, and we are just asking the government. It's only the government that can find out. There are cameras these days all over. They must have seen this car. They must have detected this car as it left Karen, going towards Naivasha, and when it turned, coming this way. So that's what the family is very concerned about. They just want to know what really happened, because there was nobody else. He was the only one. He was alone in the car.
Then there is the accident itself. Of course, the Climax coach bus driver, the man at the center of the collision, came forward to explain what happened. Those who listened described a man who was calm, composed, and aware of his surroundings. His account suggests that his quick judgment and control of the situation prevented what could have been a far more devastating tragedy. And in that moment, lives were saved because one individual did not panic.
Mimi naitwa Teras kama vile. Mimi ni dereva wa Climax coaches bus. Nimefanyia Climax coaches miaka 8. Na ile ilitokea usiku ya leo, ilitokea accident mbali ya basi yangu na Mercedes. Mercedes ilikuwa inatoka kwa mafuta petrol station. Na mimi natoka Nairobi nikienda Busia. Mercedes wakati aliingia kwa hakugifwe, aliingia kwa mafuta kwa barabara na akaona pande yake gari zimeweka jam, akaamua kuja penye niko, tukakutana kichwa na yeye.
Basi ilikuwa watu wangapi na hiyo gari ilikuwa na nani ndogo?
Gari ndogo ilikuwa na mtu mmoja. Gari yangu ilikuwa na abiria 65.
Kuna mtu alipata majeraha.
Wakati nilijaribu kuokoa nikasikia gari yangu inaenda chini. Sasa mimi nikanyaga akakuja kama ameniingia.
Na gari imejua ilikuwa na nani? Umejua gari ilikuwa na nani?
Baadaye ndio askari walipokuja ndio nikasikia ni mheshimiwa Cyrus Jirongo. Pole.
Sana.
But the fact matters. In Kenya, of course, facts rarely travel alone. They travel with memory, with politics, and with suspicion. Cyrus Jirongo was not an ordinary figure back in time. He was a man who took power head on, a politician who confronted authority without apology, a leader who, at critical moments, stood directly against the political machinery surrounding, including the current president, Dr. William Ruto. He did not whisper his opposition. He declared it openly. Such politics do not exist in a vacuum. They create loyal supporters, but they also create powerful enemies. That is why reaction to this accident have been intense, emotional, and also divided among the Kenyans. So now in Western Kenya, particularly among the Tiriki elders, reports emerge of deep anger and symbolic condemnation directed to those they believe they bear responsibility for what happened.
Sent here by the elders. You know, our brother was involved in an accident. I want to say something.
No, one second. Let's have some Jafara.
Yeah. The clan is concerned about the death. We have people who are around him, his close friends. On behalf of Bakove family from Tiriki and in East Africa, the elders wale ambao hawangetoka Tiriki na Lugari wafike hapa walisema ya kwamba pia na wao watafanya mambo yao ya Watiriki kulingana na mtu akifa katika hali kama hii ya utatanishi. Kama Jirongo alikuwa Karen saa 5:45, alafu Jirongo akapatikana Naivasha na hakuwa na mpango wa kwenda Naivasha, the close friends walijua ya kwamba anakuja nyumbani. Tuna machungu zaidi kama familia. Amepatikana Naivasha, gari ambalo lilikuwa linakuja pande hii limegeuka linaenda pande ile. Tunataka Mheshimiwa Speaker, serikali ambayo unafanya kazi ndani, itusaidie pia kufanya uchunguzi kamili kuhusu mambo haya ya Jirongo. Damu ya ndugu yetu haiwezi potea tu hivyo. Na Mheshimiwa Speaker, kama serikali haitatusaidia kufuata damu ya Jirongo.
These actions are not evidence and they are not conclusions, but they reflect something important: grief mixed with distrust, culture mixed with politics, and a community struggling to process loss and unanswered questions. But now at the same time, social media, of course, exploded with speculation. First of all, former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko entered the conversation quickly and forcefully. He publicly defended the Climax bus driver, promised legal assistance, and even spoke of bailing him out.
Yes. Sasa leo, I want to talk about the accidents that claimed the life of Mheshimiwa Cyrus Jirongo. There is this driver, Cyrus Kamau, driver wa Climax coach driver. I want to kwanza praise him, not for driving dangerously causing the death of Mheshimiwa Jirongo, no. Ameji-express, ameongea, and at the end he said, pole, I'm sorry. But you cannot blame this driver, kwa sababu kwanza sisi watu wa kauji, watu unakuta kauji kadogo, unaendesha gari under the influence of alcohol, alafu unajisahau kuwa uko kwa highway, uko kwa barabara. I stand with that driver. Why? Alikuwa amebeba 65 passengers. Anaenda Busia. Ako speed ya 130, 140. Mheshimiwa amekunywa mafuta, ametoka bila kuangalia. bila kuangalia, bila kugive away. Imagine sasa tukikuwa tunaongea morning over 30, 20, 40 or even 10 people. You had no otherwise. Sababu mheshimiwa aliingia akamfuata na akakuja akapita na yeye. Sisemi I'm happy, no. May mheshimiwa rest in peace. But sisi watu wakaujire, nimeona hapa Kanairo, nimeona mahali kwingi the accidents happening Nairobi, kila mahali kwa highways. Ukishapika kaujire kadogo unajisahau kuwa unaendesha gari.
The speed of confidence of this defense raised eyebrows across the country. Not accusations, of course, but questions. Why the urgency? Why the certainty? Why the public guarantees? But now, Cyrus Jirongo, as we all know, was never a quiet man. He was confrontational, strategic, and unapologetic. He believed in documenting truth as he saw it. That is why conversations about his unpublished book have resurfaced with urgency. Many Kenyans now hope that his words will one day be published, not as propaganda, but as testimony. And now, Havana Media, as we all know, is not offering conclusions. We are just acknowledging unease. We are recognizing what when a fearless political figure is involved in an accident wrapped in inconsistencies. The public deserves clarity, but not defensiveness. Not delay, but honesty. So, if this was an accident, then Kenyans deserve full transparency. If there were failures, then accountability must follow. If rumors have grown, then facts must be strong enough to silence them.
60 people were in that bus. None of them was injured. None of them has come out to give us their own version of the story. Don't you find that to be suspicious that there are no eyewitness stories? Number two, the only eyewitness that we saw is that other driver's point of view. Na alituonyesha hiyo basi, but there were no 60 people around. Hakukuwa na crowd imejaa hapo. How is that even possible? We've all witnessed an accident before. Hata kama ni saa 9 siku kuna kuanga na watu. Na kama hakuna watu during 3 am, mbona hao watu 60 hawakuonekana hapo? Ama walikuwa wameka kwa petrol station. As in, for me, that's not making sense at all. Another thing for me that is not making any sense is dereva alisema in separate interviews nimeona that amefanya kwa hiyo company 18 years. In other interviews anasema amefanya hiyo company 8 years. Which one is which one? Because for somebody mwenye amekuwa na experience, that level of experience, you'd ought to know how many years you've worked for that particular bus company. Another thing that also ilinishangaza, ulisema in that interview, ulimwonea mbali alafu so break yako kufanya kazi ya manini. As in, what level of speed are you going that uka decide nikikanyaga brake naweza uha to 60? As in, what will happen? When umesema mwenye in your own interviews umesema ulimwonea mbali sana. Then another thing that also does not make any sense to me, kama if you're a driver, ukitokanga petrol station inakuanga huko unakuanga hata below 10, hata below 5. As in, even if your car in a peak, how fast? Even if your car peaks, how fast? Unasema Mercedes atinaza peak 0 to 180 in 5 seconds. For me, unless your steering ilikuwa imelock, unless number 2 he had a medical emergency, for me that narrative doesn't make any sense. That yani dereva ameona hiyo gari, Jirongo anatoka petrol malisu tokanga pole pole, hakuna. Something is very fishy about that particular thing. And also remember, Jirongo he's not your typical citizen. He's been very vocal about the commander-in-chief. He's been very, very vocal. He's been saying very, very inflammatory things about the president and how he's been unaliving people. As in, Jirongo, this is just not your average MP who has passed away. No, Jirongo knows a lot of things about this government and very powerful people. So, atuweze tuka opportunity tuchukue tu narrative ati alikuwa amelewa alafu tu ati akapata accident akiwa peke yake. No. Jirongo reminds me of one person, Jacob Juma.
Of course, as we all know, Cyrus Jirongo challenged power while he was alive. It will be deeply ironic if maybe power now struggles to explain history. Remember, this is not about drama or conspiracy. It is about history watching. And now, Kenya has learned painfully that moments like this do not disappear. They settle into memory. They shape trust. and they define errors. And here at Havana Media, of course, we will continue to observe carefully, question responsibility, and resist speculation while refusing silence. Because a nation that stops asking questions is a nation that stops protecting itself. Remember, this is Havana Media, where silence is never mistaken for peace. That's it for today about Cyrus Jirongo and the accident that has shaken the country at large. My name is Odur Billy. We'll still keep an eye and inform you.